Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Sanch, welcome back to the Bodybuilding News Network for another installment of Bodybuilding Daily, where we talk about all things hot topic and trending in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. First off, some physique updates from Samson Dauda, standing next to what he is saying as the most conditioned guy I know, Michael Dubois, who is a Arnold Classic UK champion, as Totoro joins the cast. Welcome, Totoro. You can't see him just yet, but Samson Dauda sharing some physique updates. And I was a little hesitant on the back shot he was sharing. I feel like I remember Samson's back being a little bit more impressive. I thought I remember his hamstrings being a little bit more impressive. And at 6 weeks out, we're starting to get to this point where you need to look 100% on. You need to look like you're going to be beating Nick Walker. And since the judges put Samson above Nick Walker at the Arnold Classic, that needs to happen again. Otherwise, you're going to have people like me talking on platforms like this about what the heck is going on when someone says they beat one person and then loses to the same person with probably more muscle, more conditioning. You know, that's what's supposed to be happening. You know, I look at Samson Dauda, and he is a quite impressive gentleman. From the front, I think he has a lot of nice symmetry, a lot of nice full bubbly muscle bellies. From the back, though, I'm very hesitant looking at this most recent physique update, and I'm going to tell you why. Nick Walker has been sharing physique updates, and this guy looks phenomenal from the back. The level of detail, the width already coming in. We have physique updates from September 15th, and I thought that his back shots looked more impressive than what we're looking at with Samson Dauda, although Samson's photos are heavily cooked. You got to remember, there's a lot of these guys use a lot of Photoshop. They use a lot of filters. Nick Walker does not. He's transparent. He posts unfiltered, unadulterated, undoctored photography for fans and journalists to digest and look through. And I really do appreciate that from Nick Walker. So I'm hesitant to even think about putting Samson Dauda above Nick Walker. I'm debating whether or not he's going to be able to crack into the top 4 this year. Now, I will briefly cover a certain gentleman was able to get an interview with Big Ramy recently, and the announcement has been made that Ramy will be sitting out the 2023 Mr. Olympia. And I'd say most of us already kind of had the idea that this is what's going to happen. This is the reality for Big Ramy, was that he's going to be taking off this season. We saw him debatably, arguably, a more improved version of Big Ramy at that most recent Arnold Classic, and the judges still knocked him down, never even really gave him a chance to compare to the top 2. Definitely a conversation to be had there. The Arnold committee has been good to me, and I don't want to besmirch them too much, but there's definitely some questionable stuff going on when you look at if someone shows up better and doesn't get a better look from the judges. So Big Ramy not doing this year's Mr. Olympia. I think if I were to look up, I think it's who is the best bodybuilder, I think he posted a comparison talking about 4 gentlemen. Here it is. 4 gentlemen not doing this year's Mr. Olympia. All debatably top 10 contenders. Rafael Brandao placing 10th last year at the Olympia. Ian Valliere placing, I believe it was 8th last year, or 9th, falling out of the Mr. Olympia by retiring. And I'm happy with his decision for that. William Bonac slowly slipping in placings recently, deciding to take off this season and come back to the Arnold Classic Ohio next year. And the most recent drop out of the Mr. Olympia is the Mr. Two-Time Big Ramy. So let me know your thoughts on Big Ramy dropping out of the Mr. Olympia. Do you think this is a good decision for him, for his brand? Do you think that this is going to hurt his hype coming into maybe the Arnold Classic or the Mr. Olympia, depending on what he does? He might even do the Arnold Classic UK, since there's a huge prize money announcement for that. Stay tuned for more news on that here on the Bodybuilding News Network. And we are getting around the 5-minute mark. I do also want to, let's stick with just men's open bodybuilding for this video. Justin Shire posting some physique updates 6-ish weeks out from the Mr. Olympia with his coach, Matt Jensen. And I could say that I'm very impressed with Justin Shire. I think that he's going to bring a nice surprise to this year's Mr. Olympia. I think that he's going to be able to bring a very unique look that we don't really have in the top 16. And that's kind of my prediction for him, is I think he's going to land in this top 16. I think he's a great ambassador for bodybuilding, and I think he has a phenomenal physique. And I think that something like that will get rewarded in his first Mr. Olympia debut. Of course, let me know your thoughts on Justin Shire. I also want to briefly talk on Hunter Labrada doing a guest posing routine at the NPC New York State Grand Prix. Great name. I'm a big sucker for Grand Prix names, so I love seeing that. Him doing some guest posing there. And from what I can say and from what I've seen, I thought that he looked good at this guest posing. Hunter seems to always look pretty good. He's always kind of sharp. And at 6 weeks out, I would say that he is definitely on point to make the conversation of staying in the top 10 at this year's Mr. Olympia. Debating on, how good everyone else is going to show up. I am definitely thinking that Hunter could stay a top 10 contender here. Despite everything I may have said in the past, I do think he has a phenomenal physique. I think he's a very competitive open bodybuilder, and he's a multi-time pro show winner. So I definitely think he's going to be in the conversation for top 10. Someone who I really do hope comes in and nails the 2024 Arnold Classic. New addition to that lineup is James the Shed Hollingshead, announcing at a most recent guest posing at the NPC European. I'm not sure. It wasn't that show. It was a different show. It wasn't the Europa Pro we just saw, but he did a guest posing just 5 hours ago as of recording this. You'll see this in, I think, tomorrow afternoon. I'll put this up, or maybe even the next morning. But James, I think, is one of these guys that he's got amazing structure. He's got a lot of muscle, but he said it himself in several interviews that he doesn't push the conditioning too hard because he doesn't want to lose that full pop that he has. He doesn't want to try bringing extra conditioning and sacrificing size and shape. And that, I feel, in 2023, or at least for him in 2024, is not a winning combo. It's not a winning recipe. You have to be able to find not just the perfect balance, but the unbeatable balance of conditioning and size. And I think that James needs to find this special formula where he can bring the conditioning he needs and doesn't lose the size. And I know it sounds stupid. I know it sounds impossible, but that's the impossible task he has when more and more impressive bodybuilders are coming up in the league and they are looking impressive and the conditioning is getting better and better and the physiques and the structures are getting better and better. So those are my top stories for today. Stay tuned for more. I have so much to talk about as we are getting into 6 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia, 2 weeks out from the Rising Phoenix. Actually, no, 1 week out technically from the Rising Phoenix. So more women's bodybuilding coverage to come. The Dubai Pro is going to be Sunday, so you should be seeing this probably after the show happened. And then we have the Legion Sports Festival coming up just around the corner, and the Van City Island Showdown, a 212 show. So lots of fun, exciting shows coming up in the near future. Subscribe for more. I'm your host, as always, Josh Sanch. Thank you for watching another episode of Bodybuilding News Network, and I'll see you in the next one.